As we move toward a future where more and more of our personal identities exist online, Ubisoft brings us an open-world experience where everything digital can be manipulated. This is Watch Dogs.
Let's see how safe you feel when I trace your call.
Sounds like somebody making up a story to get a book deal to me.
No, but
What do you have on him? I don't.
There you are.
The heartbeat, not only in my chest, but the heart in the street. So when they feel this, they feel me, but I can feel nothing outside the telling me you gotta walk away from this, man.
Some things you can't walk away from.
Please!
Barjo, hacking was cool in the 90s when people wore lycra and touted floppy disks as weapons. Well, I thought so anyway.
Yes, maybe. It was a little cheesy.
True. Ubisoft's contemporary hacker future manages to be quite sophisticated and believable though, doesn't it?
Yeah, they've done a great job of creating a living, breathing vision of Chicago that is embedded in a Big Brother level of surveillance and control.
You got a nasty security system.
You take the role of Aiden Pierce, a heaps-leet hacker for hire. But after pissing off the wrong people, his niece is killed in a hit targeting him. So he's now a hacker on a path for justice. Revenge hacks.
Yes, it's not really enough to justify his actions, though, is it?
No, and it doesn't really get you excited about this mysterious world of hackers, which is what I was after. It just felt a bit thin.
Yeah, to me it came across more like he was a murderer and a thief, as he boldly shoots and steals his way across Chicago in an effort to make peace with his own guilt.
I killed her.
No, you didn't.
Nevertheless, the basic idea of how he bends this city to his will works well, I think, and the mechanics are as flashy and unique as the devs set out to achieve.
Yes, it's very slick, very smooth.
Oh, now.
The city itself is GTA inspired with similar open world driving action and all the usual objectives. But Aiden is able to hack into the city's central operating system, or CTOS, and this is core to how you navigate the environment and complete missions.
Most of Aiden's missions involve stealthily infiltrating CTOS facilities to get security codes and information. I found myself going through the motions a little bit. I often wondered what I was doing and why. Still, there's a great stealth approach to a lot of the action.
That's weird.
Some of the stealth side missions are really tough. While you can generally blast your way through the main missions if you're impatient like me and regularly break stealth, many of the side missions make it pretty impossible for you to be clumsy about anything. You need to find clever ways to use distractions and remotely hack machinery.
How's that happening? Fucking turn yourself on, didn't you?
Yeah, I liked this a lot. Some of these ideas feel really fresh, which is just what this genre needs. I also like that you can create gadgets to attract attention.
Alright. Take the bait.
And there's some nice environmental stuff to take advantage of as well. Though a lot of the goons seem to have hackable explosives, which seems a little unfair to them.
Okay, don't panic. There's gotta be a disarm system.
Sorry, buddy.
I loved hacking into the security cameras. That was probably my favorite feature of the game.
Yeah, that's so foul.
Hacking your way from one camera to the next to find the security panel you need, that was really cool and such a clever way to really plan out your strategy.
At first I thought that camera-to-camera line-of-sight hacking thing was just completely lame, but after a while I realized no, it's just a way they've made hacking fun for a video game. It works. And sometimes you'd even hack into the camera on someone's phone. There's a nice puzzle aspect they've applied to this as well, particularly in the way you gain access to those comm towers that, once hacked, will open up new areas of the map.
What did you think of the combat? I thought the guns felt great. I tricked myself out pretty early.
Yeah, they do feel nice, don't they? And there's a good variety. What I like most about the combat was the fluid cover system.
I know you're over there.
I love just hitting a button to slide from one point of cover to the next, even when it was really far away. That just worked beautifully when all the hacking distractions are happening at the same time, and I think that's where the game is at its best.
Enemy AI was pretty good too, I thought, although not so great at picking up on danger cues. Like if you explode a guy and his body is just lying there, they're like, no, it's cool guys, I think we're gonna be okay.
Don't worry about him.
Looks like nothing to worry about.
Like your friend is dead on the floor, clearly things are not okay.
At least call an ambulance. I will say that the civilian AI is some of the best we've seen in an open world game. They all have really great reactions that stay consistent. If you pull out a gun, they'll freak out.
Don't hurt me!
Ay, Dios mío!
I can call someone.
Man, just take my
Maybe
money
I
and
should
go.
call someone.
Yeah, Yeah, I love that they all have their own personalities and lives and stories. And you discover these as you're constantly roaming the streets, hacking their phones, intercepting calls and text conversations.
Come on. I thought all guys did.
You can even steal music from them. And their bank account info, which is how you make a lot of your money. It's just nice to have a world that actually feels inhabited.
Yeah, it definitely adds a layer of humanity to it.
We recently spoke to lead story designer Kevin Short about how the team created such varied backstories for these civilians.
We knew that we needed a living city that felt alive. For us, then, that meant we then had to go to Chicago. And we knew we wanted to record in Chicago because they have a very distinct accent.
You got a problem?
So annoying.
And as you can imagine, it's a lot of reactions for every single NPC. I think we spent a total of about 6 weeks in Chicago, and that was with 2 studios running simultaneously every day. And we had so many actors out of Chicago just recording all those voices. And every single one is unique to some extent. You will never see exactly the same profiler on any NPC anywhere in the game. In a subtle way, it gets players making micro choices constantly. So we would watch and see players wanting to hack somebody's bank account. And so I'd watch them, and they're looking at the profiles. They're like, oh, unemployed. I'm not gonna hack him. Ooh, a mother of 4 kids. I'm not gonna hack her. And they would wait until they found someone who they felt was the right person to hack. And I love that because it's not us telling them. It's not the game saying, here's the type of person you should be looking for. It's entirely the players making their own choices on that. In combat situations, you no longer think about the class of enemy you're fighting. You think about the fact that the person you're trying to take down is a newlywed. Maybe you don't kill him now, maybe you just knock him out or something. In most games, often in open world games, you can look at NPCs as just, they soon become just kind of obstacles, and you kind of stop noticing them. And the profiler constantly reminds you to think about them as people.
The other way you put your elite hacks to good use is while driving. As you level up, you can apply skill points to various perk trees, but the hacking tree is your most valuable and will assist you most with your escapes.
Threats to my family.
Yeah, I had great fun with all that. If you fail to evade security scans when the cops are alerted, they will be all over you.
Please, don't move!
You can hack traffic lights to create jams or create openings, all to aid your escape.
Give it up! Pull over!
Police are incredibly difficult to shake unless you use your hacking abilities to twist the city streets to your advantage. So it's clear the devs really wanted to encourage you to hack at every opportunity.
Yeah, at first I thought this was a bit punishing, but then I realized if you break line of sight, you can just hide in your car and they'll lose you.
The best evade is when you activate a bridge to open as you drive across it, foiling your pursuers.
Yeah, there's some great action sequences that come out of those high-speed chases, aren't there?
Ram his car! Come on!
Well, speak for yourself. It's no secret that I'm a pretty crap driver in these kinds of games, and I reserve the right to be because that's half the fantasy and the fun. Embrace the chaos.
Well, like embrace the failure.
The cars are great though, although no smart cars, which made me sad. The bikes are my favorite, they handle so well.
That said, I wasn't too impressed with the handling of the cars. I just felt the collisions were a bit weak and I didn't really enjoy the driving. It all felt a bit tedious.
I disagree. I think the collisions need to be forgiving in a game like this. Just like you forgive the fact that street lamps are apparently made of cardboard, otherwise it breaks your flow. You can also make some extra cash by stopping crimes in the area.
You've been talking to people you ain't supposed to be talking to, dude.
You do this by profiling likely targets and then catching them in the act and subduing them before they get away. I was a bit confused by these. I mean, who is Aiden? Is he a thug, a hacker, or a hero?
Yeah, all of the above, I guess. It did feel a bit weird that one minute he's hacking and stealing money from civilians, and then the next he's fighting crime. I guess it was an attempt to make the character seem more like a vigilante and not just a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, his motivations are just a little bit unclear in general. Still, I enjoyed those missions, and I always go for those over boring race missions. Though there are some larger scale side quests which require some lengthy strategy and planning.
Dotted around the map are also augmented reality games, and these are like little shooters that you can play. Also, there are these guys that sell digital trips.
Which are definitely not drugs.
No.
These aren't drugs. It's all audio sensations, man.
But they do transport you into a virtual reality game.
Never resist the challenge.
These were a fantastic idea, but to me they felt a bit tacked on.
I actually thought they were really interesting. If anything, they help flesh out this alternate reality. I just love those future tech world details. But that doesn't necessarily mean I want to go and play them. Game within a game instances are generally pretty unappealing, aren't they?
There are a bunch of multiplayer modes, and you'll probably want to have a go at them because they unlock stuff for the single player. We weren't able to test them all out fully at the time of reviews, so these are just first impressions. The weirdest mode is hacking contracts. This is where you invade someone else's world, initiate a wireless hack, and then try to remain hidden until the hack is complete.
Well, you know, this is that ghost of Assassin's Creed creeping back in again, because this is actually very reminiscent of the multiplayer in that series.
Yeah, it's weird though, but it is funny watching them run around trying to find you. Never gonna catch me.
There are some other modes too, but the best is definitely the decryption contracts. In this mode, one player has a file and the rest have to hack it off them wirelessly by proximity.
This is the only multiplayer mode that I see myself coming back to, Hex. It's just frantic as you're trying to get the file and suddenly your enemies are your friends, and then you get the file, and then they're your enemies again, and you're the one being hunted. It's great fun. The rounds are maybe a little bit long, and I also found it a bit tricky to navigate through certain parts of this world. I'd get stuck where it gets cluttered.
Yeah, I think that's part of the stress of it though, Barjo, just trying to use the environment and whatever you can hack around you to keep away from other players. And I like that these can occur as random encounters as you're making your way through the single player. Because while I wouldn't necessarily actively sit down to an online multiplayer session of this, when the opportunity presents itself, I'm like, yeah, why not?
Initially, I was a bit underwhelmed with Watch Dogs, Hex. Maybe it's a case of the best is yet to come, because we haven't quite finished it yet.
This is powerful. Just don't be stupid.
I imagine the story will get more into the people behind the CTOS organization and who is actually in control of everything. But the setup just didn't give me enough to get excited about the game.
Yeah, it needs a punchier lead-in to really pique your interest. The focus is definitely on teaching you the game's hacking mechanics, which, as cool as they are, simply put a newish spin on a genre that's very much sticking to the format. Is it greedy of me to say I want more?
No, I don't think so. I think the confusing characterization of Aiden, along with a fairly weak story, contributes to that.
I was enjoying this tech-focused future, but I didn't really connect with Aiden or understand who he was or where he came from.
Where?
But again, maybe that gets explained later on. Plus, he seriously suffers from action hero Batman voice.
Just tell me where they are.
Just tell me where they are.
They should have made that tattooed French chick the main protagonist. She was way cooler.
I hope I don't frighten you.
What, do you have a reason to frighten me?
To be honest, Hex, I was expecting a lot from this game. It had a lot of hype leading up to it, and it didn't quite live up to that. But still, the more I played it, the more I enjoyed it, because when the action works, it really works. And so I think it's worth 8 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that Watch Dogs brings to the open world driving genre that were really exciting to learn. And I like the way they're looking at how we use technology now and how this might be a prediction of the not too distant future. But it still all feels quite familiar to me, and it just fell a little flat. So I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10.